I want to give you some advice on if you're feeling blocked psychically. I have had a lot of questions come in on this topic. And I think that a lot of people are asking, is that me? Is that the spirit realm blocking me? Is it a past life thing? Is it, something that I'm holding back? Do my guides hold me back because I'm not ready? Listen, it could be all of the above, except for the part that says your guides are holding you back in case you're not ready. They don't control the show. You control the show.
Hello, and welcome to the Constance Messmer Podcast. Thank you so much for tuning in.
So, if you're feeling like you're putting in the practice for really developing your soul senses, then these are the steps I would take. And this is off of a question that Caitlin sent in from Anchorage, Alaska. So I do hope you are watching, Caitlin. You seem really cool. So I would like to hang out with you and troubleshoot some of your stuff in person. I think that you are really an interesting soul because you are very giving. You want to give, but you're also very protected and hold back. So the first thing I would do is to actually surrender your life to the work. So any of you that are feeling like, am I blocked? I really feel called to do something in this kind of work because it's fascinating to me, because I know I would be good at it. My heart's in the right place. I want to help people. If this sounds like you, then listen up. So a few things. I would definitely say that you would dedicate your life to this work. Don't quit your day job unless you really want to. By that, I mean, remember when I told you that I consecrated my life to this work? I was like, okay, if I'm meant to do this, bring it on. And I think we're all meant to do this in some capacity, whether we just use the skills for our own life and our own knowledge in our personal life or in our professional life quietly, or we take it as a profession out into the world. So the first thing that I would get, and I'm getting a lot in as guidance right now, is to consecrate yourself to it. I really want to do this. And you set that up as like an affirmation, right? That I want to do this as work. I want to do this, develop my skill set in the soul senses. I'm really intrigued by this. There's something about this I'm drawn to. And of course, you're so cool. Of course. So because you do enter into these magical spaces that can sometimes like throw you off, and it can be freaky, really, because one thing leads to another and you get into the flow of the magic, right? And manifesting happens quicker, and you recognize your hiccups or other people's hiccups, and you want to help, and you just see the world differently. You really, 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 really do. So I'm glad you're excited to process, learn, and amp your skill set, if that's the best word to use, or work on your own natural attributes, which everyone has. We all have the soul senses. It's whether or not we want to choose to develop them and work and see our world through them. So I'm talking to spirit at the same time I'm talking to you. I'm like, I just flubbed up my words. Should I stop and re-record? And they're like, no, just keep going. You're on a roll. I'm like, okay, great. How exciting. Okay. So yeah, that's a total parenthetical aside. I'm telling them. They're like even this, right? I was a Hawkeye, Herky the Hawk, but it's also a hawk is messenger of the gods. So I really want a hawk tattoo because I'm an Iowa Hawkeye alum, and I also want the Herky the Hawk tattoo, which is so funny. I wonder if I'll get that. I digress. That's a little personal aside about me. So I would first and foremost say, bring it on. I did that to source energy. I said, bring it on, keep me clear, keep my ego out of it. So those of you that are really interested but worried that you might be so good that your ego might become involved, you need to kind of reel it back. If I were to give you, 5 pointers, I should write them down because I'm like, really? We're going to give them 5? Are you going to remember? That you definitely want to consecrate your life to this work, whatever that means for you. It doesn't mean you give up everything else. It just means that this is a sacred bond, a sacred promise. Like, I'm going to work on this and I'm going to use it for my own highest good and the highest good of all, really. So consecrate yourself to the work and set your kind of intentions. And I would use maybe, look, I would use one of my Maybe one of my journals, my blank journals. What if you are the divine plan? That's the one I would use. I would write it in there, and the prompts would be, these are the promises that I make. And it's to always be honest with myself and the information that comes through. I'm writing these down, be honest, so that I can repeat them after we're done. Because I'm channeling this stuff and then I'll forget it, because it's just for you, not for me. But so be honest with the information and be honest with yourself and what comes through. Now, with yourself, it's because you need to recognize when you're having sensations, feelings, words come through, it doesn't feel right. It feels a little off. It feels flat. You need to go, wait, did I say that? Did you say that? Who's talking here? Who's this coming from? So you have to be honest with yourself first and foremost with your feelings. And you need to be honest with the delivery of the information. So if you want to do this as a career, like I did for like 30 years, where you're either delivering your message to friends or family or taking it out into the world in some form, lots of forms that you could do that, or quietly doing it in your day job now, or your professional world, which is great. I wish we all would, because the world would be a much better place. You have to be honest with the information that you're getting. You can't manipulate it. You can't deliver it in any way other than it's coming. And that's going to be important, because if you're meant to deliver messages on whatever level, spirit needs to know that they can count on you. So what that means and what that looks like is that when I first started the work, spirit says, how can I trust you with the big stuff if I can't trust you with the small stuff? You have to be willing to say, oops, got that wrong. Oops, let me clarify. Oops, that doesn't feel as clear as it should. Let me go back and get more information. So it's really getting yourself in the material and the nuances of how the material delivers itself, so that you can be honest with yourself when there's a little mishiccup, and you can be honest with the person to go, listen, can I rephrase that? Listen, I've had to say that because I was like, it's coming as a vibration and I'm trying to interpolate what's being, you know, transmitted to me. And so I need to really shut my eyes and hook into this frequency. Don't talk. I can't tell you how many people would come for reads. And I was like, this is a channeled soul read. So you just listen. I will record it. So you're going to have a copy. But this is not a question thing. I'm going to go. You might have questions, but you say it in your mind to them, because they'll hear it. I don't need to hear it. Constance does not need to hear it. I'm just going to deliver the information. Okay. And it's just going to come and come and come. And so I'll record it because it's going to come so fast. And if at the very end they didn't answer all your questions, let me know and I'll say, can you go on this one? Can you talk about this thing? And so this is the same for you, right? Listen, when yeah, look at I'm segueing to me. When I started in the work, you have to recognize you're going to do this work. You work for spirit, right? You work for the other people's souls. You could charge or not charge or whatever works for you, or barter or whatever works. But your work is really, it's not to build you up or puff you up. You're just doing your cool thing that you do. Designers, engineers, street sweepers, grocery clerks, house cleaners, teachers, doctors, professionals, they're all doing what they're doing because that's what they're called to do. So if you're called to do this as a career or whatever, or you're called to do it quietly, you still have to be honest with how you're delivering the information and how you're working, in that kind of passionate place. And spirit work like this is no different. The more you have integrity to what it is you're up to and what you're delivering, the better your work will be. Pure and simple. I guarantee if you throw your ego in and it's like, I am so freaking cat's meow, you'll get a lesson right away, because that's just how it works. And if you misinterpret, spirit will be like, don't trust her, man. That she's gonna like, it's not gonna, things aren't gonna work out. Like, you will reap the rewards and goodness when you're on the right path, right? Just like anything, right? Malpractice for doctors, transfers for whomever for whatever reason. And the same is true with spirit work. It'll be like, no, no, don't talk to her. You can't count on her, right? But then conversely, if you are a person of your word and you're trying and you're saying, listen, I'm going to go back to you because that didn't make sense to them. So it doesn't make sense to them. So tell me words and ways that will make sense to them, because I'm trying to help you help them. which is helping us all. So this is about you kind of recognizing where's your part in the misstep? Where is spirit's part in the misstep? How available are you letting yourself be for the material and the information? God, this seems so random. Spirits like roll with it. They're either going to get it or not. So don't shut me off. Or maybe save me for later. It'll resonate later. So consecrate the work, be honest with yourself, and be honest and have integrity, right? Have integrity in the work. Integrity in the work. Listen, I'm going to write a book that will have this kind of stuff in this, but they're not letting me look at what I already wrote, channeled in the book. So whatever. And then also work at it in ways that you wouldn't expect. You know, all my videos that are on exercises, soul sensibilities, exercises, and I break it down at the end of each of the Claire and the empathic Claire episodes. There's exercises at the end, and then I compile the exercises, and then I have videos that are each of the exercises and stuff like that, or each of the categories of exercises. Do those exercises, my friend. That's why I'm telling you about them, because they will strengthen. It's like going to the gym. You know, you can't have the body you really want unless you go to the gym. So you can't have the soul skills that you want unless you put in the time and the effort. So if you don't have an opportunity to work with someone else and deliver messages or act as a medium or try your hand at a psychic read, do those exercises. Do them with friends, do them with family. They will strengthen, you'll understand. It's really about a relationship with yourself. How do you tick? How do you work? How does the work with you? It's rapport with your own skill set, with your soul. So definitely do the exercises. I'm like, how did we even get here? How did we start this? Oh, when people were like, am I blocking? Am I blocking myself? Was that the question? Yeah, I think it was. Am I blocking it? So I think that there are moments when we hold ourselves back because it can be overwhelming or too much, or maybe, gosh, why am I not able to like trim my tummy like I want to at, whatever blank age that I am? Oh, well, geez, maybe if you did more sit ups and showed up in the gym, you might have that dream look that you're after that's healthy for your midsection. Right. There's that part. So, you know, are you blocked because you're just hoping it airdrops in and it just happens at the ready? How about you go work out in the gym for a while and really pay attention to these moments? Now, listen, this also, Spirit's telling me, this is also not necessarily happening in meditation time. That works for me in the chair, but it also works for me to go for a walk. It might work for you to sit in your chair or lay on your bed and meditate and connect with the highest frequency and have dialogue, have conversation, but it might not. It may be, I've talked to you about this before. It might be you need a walking meditation where you walk and talk, in the woods or while you're driving, but be very careful. And, the thoughts come to you and you're going back and forth. It may happen. Maybe you're a massage person and like me, or a Reiki. Oh, I didn't do massage, but I did Reiki. And maybe like me, the information comes when you have hands on people and hands on healing is occurring. And maybe you want to incorporate that in your work. And so maybe working on understanding the chakras, listening to the chakra episodes that I did, waiting for the chakra book that's coming out as soon as we get it coordinated, will help you kind of learn what the blocks look like in each area or the strengths look like in each chakra. And so maybe you incorporate the sense of spirit and spiritual understanding and spiritual awareness or energy awareness, with these other avenues or through these other avenues through doing this kind of thing. I learned really quickly, like in my work, I really liked doing in-person work with people. And I really wanted to face my chair so that my heart was aligned with their heart, right? And that was really cool for me. And I also knew that in those spaces, if I blended my auric field with them, not only could I pick up more empathic stuff, but I could really work my vibration to shift their vibration. Yeah, especially when I was teaching them to connect with spirit. That was really handy. But then I had to go, Constance, this stuff is beyond space and time. So you can do reads anytime you want. And you can do distant healing like you learned to do in Reiki and energy healing. And this stuff works, right? And so I did more and more and more phone reads, especially because I live in an area where a lot of my clients were around the world. So I think that another thing you can do to as if you're feeling blocked, is to take off the parameters that you might have set. So take off the parameters, off the parameters. So I think you might want to journal that out. Like, what does that look like? Or go for a walk and talk and say, do I have any expectations, right, on how this should be and how I'm showing up for it? Do I think that it should just happen when, in the instant that I want to talk to spirit? Yes. Yes, it can. But usually you need to go, who is it that you want to talk to, right? And what do you need guidance for? In the beginning of my work, I would sit and I'd go like, okay, what's the topic? And that really is spirit's like, don't do that to us. We could talk about anything. What do you want to know about? And I would then say, tell me something I need to know, or let's look at a past life, or tell me about my relationship with so and so, or do I need to work on a healing of myself? Is there a relationship in my past that I need to look at and learn the lesson from that I wasn't able to see before, but I am now? You could go with an agenda of conversation, not how the conversation's going to go or where it's going to end up, but go with kind of a topic to discuss. That is really lovely to do. And you might be the kind of person that can do that in your meditation time or your dedicated prayer time or sitting time, right? And with your coffee and your journal and you're writing it out. Or you might be that person that needs to just say, you know what? I want to figure out this relationship issue. So for the next week, can you just throw it in my brain? Like bring thoughts to my mind as to what the hiccup is? Should I move on or should I maintain, or what am I not seeing, or what's the story about? This week is going to be spent with me connecting with spirit for great guidance on something maybe I'm not capable of seeing. And notice how that guidance comes to you. Don't push away thoughts or memories that come up, or sensations, or aggravational kind of moments about the relationship, or beautiful moments about the relationship. Maybe you're the kind of person that your spirit or your wise self infiltrate your thoughts throughout the whole week, and you're sitting there trying to connect in your meditation time, and it's actually happening in your day-to-day experience. Sometimes I think when we go into meditation time, a lot of people think that we're going to go in and it's going to be a booming voice, and a lot of times it's your thoughts. It's the thoughts that come to you. It's the memories that fly by you. And you can recognize you're hooked in because your intention is to hook in with either your wise self or a guide or an angel or someone or the divine consciousness, or source energy. If you set that intention at the start, like I am going to, light my candle, whatever, and I'm going in to find out, do I have any blocks? Let's go back to that. Do I have any blocks on connecting? And what's coming up for me? I'm afraid. Write the first thing that comes to your mind. I'm afraid. Great. Write that down. What am I afraid of? Add the date because you might want to reference this. What am I afraid of? How good I could be. What if no one believes me? I feel like I could, well, what's that about? Is it a past life? Ooh, yes, yes, yes. Chills, goosebumps, whatever. Close my eyes. Was I a man or a woman? What's the past life about? How can I release it? What happened to me then? All of these things, you know, and maybe some of it might come out as I'm afraid of being right. Maybe that's a lot of responsibility. I went through that. Oh my God. Oh my God. I went through that so much. I was like, oh, it is a lot of responsibility to deliver someone's truth and soul information to them, right? Ooh, chills. That's a lot of responsibility. Wrestle with that. So I was like, this is a lot of responsibility. And Spirit's like, yeah, it is. And then what are you going to do about it, Constance? And I was like, okay, what I'm going to do is I promise to be honest. I promise to have integrity in the work. I promise to turn to you when something doesn't feel right. I promise to turn to you when the words are really tricky for me to deliver, right? Because they're really upsetting to me personally, let alone how is it going to land with them. So it's about unraveling the pieces that scare you, the pieces that hold you back, the pieces that possibly could be blocking you. Your 11 Soul Senses, a journal for self-discovery, is something I created just for you. It is complete with definitions, writing prompts, and blank journaling pages
to help you reconnect with your true essence and your soul sense abilities. To get your copy, visit my shop or go to constancemessmer.com. And thanks for tuning in.
I remember people going and they'd come in and say, I think I have a block. And I'd be like, okay, let's check. And, there were some of them that they were wearing a hat from a previous incarnation. And I was like, wow, what is this? Or a dish or, a helmet or whatever. And I was like, wow, what is this? Is it for your highest good to remove this? And some of them it was, and some of them it wasn't. This was like their protection or their kind of, their filtration system, right? So maybe you're a person that senses material or armor or things from other lifetime on yourself or others. And I say, don't dismiss it. Go into it. Pay attention to your dreams. This is your deal. Maybe this week you set the intention of like, I want to release and detach every single block that I have about bringing my full self into the world and into this work. And so this whole week or this whole month is going to be dedicated to releasing those blocks. And so what do I need to look at now? What do I need to look at now? Bombard my brain. I used to say that with spirit. Bombard my thoughts with what I need to see. Knock me over the head because I can be so blind sometimes or so dense or so, busy, right? Busy or overwhelmed or distracted, right? And spirit sometimes would say, yeah, well, watch your distractions. Who do you think is trying to distract you? We're trying to have you look over here, and it's not a distraction. It's a getting your attention thing. So even in those, notice that. I feel like we're on this crazy roller coaster ride. I don't even know where we're going to end. So what else about blocks? So, okay. And then this person, Caitlin from Anchorage, Alaska, said, I've been working on mediumship for a year off and on, and I don't feel like I'm making any progress. You really have to dedicate yourself to this work. I try to rely on my intuition, but I could use advice. I think you mean by intuition your soul senses. Caitlin, you know how I feel about that word. Intuition is only claircognizance. So if you have a claircognizant moment when you have this kind of like something or you feel or sense something, I want you to go into that, Caitlin. And anybody that's listening, I want you to go in and go, how did I get that information? Did I see it? Did I feel it? Did I hear it? Did I feel it emotionally? Did I feel it physically? Did it come as a taste? Did it come as a smell? I want you to pay attention to your soul senses. Don't call it intuition anymore. And everybody call it your soul senses. And I want you to really dissect it. That's what I did. That's what I did. That's what I did. I was like, what the heck is that? Do you smell that? Do you smell that smell? My chair's so weird. I'm sitting on a cushion, so if I'm making a lot of noise in my seat, that's why. So definitely dissect when you feel you're having an intuitive moment or an intuitive experience. That's going to be important. So that's another thing. That's another tip for blocks. Dissect the experience. And guess what else? Your intention is to do this stuff for a week or a month or really like apply yourself like a freaking class in school. And I want you to show up, like pay attention. That's another thing. Pay attention. So you've set the intention and now you're going to pay attention. How's that? You've set the intention. You've consecrated yourself to this. You're going to be honest with yourself and with the material that comes through. You're going to do the psychic exercises. You're going to take off any parameters of expectation. No expectation. Let it come. Let it come. Because that one point has helped me so much in my work. Like, seriously. Because I would get information and I was like, this is so random. This couldn't possibly be something. And spirit's like, try it. And then I would tell the person, the sitter, and they were like, how did you get that? That's like, nobody knows that. And blah, blah, blah. I'm like, yeah, well, I trusted them. Trust spirit, right? If you're hooked in and you're getting information, trust it. Trust spirit. And then if you get something that the sitter or the person you're giving a mediumship read to, or you're being the intermediary between them and a loved one on the other side, or guides, or, whatever, however you're getting your help. If they say that doesn't register, that makes no sense to me, go back to spirit. Say that doesn't register with them. Don't let that become a block. to you doing this stuff. Don't let any of those little threads stop you from being your full potential, right? Go back to spirit and say, they didn't get that. That made no sense to them. What should I do about it? Go back to the source of where you got that information, right? And sometimes what I've gotten in the past was, don't worry, it's going to happen within 3 months. They'll get it. They'll have your recording and they're going to email you back. And sure enough, it always happens. I recently got an email that said, I had a session with you and you were like, you're going to have a baby. And I was so forlorn, really giving up on it. And you were right. Like 10 months later, I had a baby, or I got pregnant. Not had a baby, got pregnant. So spirit's like, listen, if you get it from spirit, there's a reason, right? Because when you set your work and your intention to get solid informations, I'm sitting in front of this person and everything that comes through my mind is for them. That's what I want. That's what I used to do. Everything that comes through, I'll tell you everything that comes through. And so I'd start doing that. And then the thread of truth just would come. And then there would be pauses in giving a reading and allowing this, Caitlin, because I think you want to do readings. And those of you that want to do reads and mediumship, there would be natural pauses. And then I would be like, what's supposed to happen here? I would have that combo in my head and it would be like, drink of water, or this is your moment to say, do you understand? But the second I would ask them, do you understand? I knew they did. And then spirit would keep talking again, start going up again. And I'd say, never mind, I'm going to go back and get more information. And then I'd ask towards the end, do you understand that? And they would sometimes say, no, I don't get that, because maybe the language was too far out of their wheelhouse, or maybe it wasn't even an arena that they thought of working in their life or whatever. And I would go back to source and say, they need clarity. They need clarity. I trusted the work enough to know when I was on, and when I trusted that this is going to sound so vain. I trusted myself and the work enough to know that spirit was always right. They were. That's why I've also taught you about mental embellishments and projections and reading wishes, reading those things, watch those videos. Embellishments, projections, wishes, all of those things. You've got to watch for those. The information will feel true and you'll feel it. And then you're going to have relationship with the information. How wacky is that? But you can. But I really think that, if there are past life blocks, you can definitely sort them. Ask your highest self, ask God to reveal them to you, or ask a guide or an angel to come through. Say, I really, and you don't have to see the guide or the angel, right, to trust that they're there. Trust me, they're there. Just say, I feel like I'm meant to do this work. I dedicate myself to this work. I dedicate myself to the practice to perfection, as well as that's supposed to be for me. And I bring it on. Keep me clear, keep my ego out of it, bring it on. Help me stay focused, help me be aware of the messages as they come, help me be aware of the synchronicities, that they're more meaningful, help me to be aware of the path as it unfolds before me. I used to also say, this is way too much information, but I'm going to tell you anyway. I used to also say, only bring people to me that I can help. No weirdos. No weirdos. The people I couldn't help, I never got. I don't even know what I would have thought a weirdo was. I'm pretty weird myself, so there's that. But mostly it was, I wanted to help people that I could help. Listen, some of you throw questions at me that I'm like, that's not my wheelhouse. Don't ask me about that. I don't even want to go to where I could get that information. So I just usually, I don't know that I'll even answer some of those, other than saying, you got to source that on your own, babes. That's, um, but for me, it's that same thing, because I know we can all get the answers. I know we have access to all the answers, but I think I told you, like, I didn't want to find missing anything, right? I was like, no, too painful for me. I'm too empathic. I no, mm-mm. That's not my thing. I don't want to do that. I don't want to do medical mediumship. So I do create my boundaries, and you can too in this. But you can also say, if I have blocks that I really don't want to have or are no longer for my highest good in this incarnation, help me release them. What do I need to know to release them? And I'm hearing right now, trust. You need to trust. I feel like some of you, and you, Caitlin, you're getting information that you brush off. Spirit saying, enter into the experience more fully so that you can really immerse yourself in it, so that you can learn to trust it and develop it and work with it. I also think that when those of you want to work on mediumship, and I think some of you might be using that term when you actually just want to have inner psychic rapport. That's my language. I have to be clear on language. Otherwise, I'm like, what are you talking about? Inner psychic rapport is when you connect with a guide or an angel and you have just this back and forth dialogue, or a loved one on the other side. So it's just you and one other. But it becomes mediumship if you're delivering a message, right? You're the intermediary. And so I think that some of you that want to work on mediumship should ask, is it for my highest good to do this kind of work? Yes or no? No? Then say, why not? And then if you hear you're not ready, say why. What should I do about it? Where should I go? I should probably make a meditation on this, right? Sourcing soul for blocks. I could do that. But always ask. Remember, I studied investigative journalism. Always ask. Ask the next question. Don't take no for an answer. Why am I not ready? Because you wouldn't believe it. Because you don't think you're as powerful as you are. This is not for me. This is for somebody else. I might be reading you, Caitlin. What would you do with that information? Now what? Some of you, your whole life would change. Are you ready for your whole life to change? Your whole life, your perception of reality. You might be in relationships that no longer serve you because they can't align with it, with what you're doing and what you're capable of. I've been there, done that. I'm like, dude, I can't stay with you. This is not, you can't even enter into my stratosphere on these thoughts. Not that I'm not saying I was better then. It was just he didn't believe in all of this. And I'm like, how can you not believe in all of this? This is what I am. So I'm like, okay, no, I can't hang with you anymore. You're cute, but no thanks. Anyway, right? Yeah. So how would things change? So it's about you. When you think you have a block, you probably do, but it's probably not what you think. Rarely is it, yeah, in another life, someone, whatever. Like sometimes if it's past life connected blocks, it could be because you were, burned at the stake, hung, head cut off, all of these kind of things, tortured, for having this powerful existence where you were a seer or you were capable of, being a, prophet, prophetess, seeing the future, whatever, telling people what they didn't want anyone else to hear. And so, you were a threat in many ways. So you might look at that. If you feel like you have a past life link to a block, you could even ask, how would my work like this in this life be a threat to anyone? Some of you have written in and said, you say it like it is. You don't deliver with a whole lot of compassion. You just say word for word what you're getting. There's no qualms with that. I have no qualms with that. There's nothing wrong with that. I only caution when it's a heavy topic. I have had some experiences where I'm like, oh my God, how do I say this? This is some serious stuff. This is serious stuff. And I knew it was right, because it was, but I don't mean to sound like I'm all that when I say that. You'll know. When you'll know. You'll know, like, that's the thread of truth. I know what Constance was talking about. You're going to be like, oh my God, I get it now. So I knew the thread of truth, right? And I was like, I have to say that. And Spirit's like, yup. And I said, I can't say it how I'm getting it, because I would see things sometimes when it was atrocious to say. And I was like, how am I going to say that to them? And so I would say, give me the words. Give me the words to say it, because it's too difficult for me to say, because I can't just blurt it out. So I would be given the words. So always, always, always ask for help. So when you're interested in doing reads or mediumship or tarot cards or throwing whatever divination tools to do this work or whatever, you want to help and you want to be there, it's not really about how amazing and powerful you are. You already are that. You are. You are amazing and powerful anyway. So you don't need anything to prove that to you. I mean, not at all. Not at all. Now, is it cool when you can do these things and have these things happen? Yeah, but in my book, Some Dogs Talk, Tony, the protagonist, says, don't think, in the back, he leaves you notes and says, don't think you're as cool as that, or you won't be. It'll become a block. So you just have to be humble in the work, like, wow, this is amazing. And I think I'm pretty humble because I know we can all do it. So I'm like, dude, nothing special about me. We're all special. So, you know, and probably that's why I can be good at it. But I'm sure I might get a little tag. I might get a tag for that comment. I'm like, no. Yeah. But no, I think I get tags all the time because sometimes I read your questions and I watch the lives and I go, God, I never answered their question. I went into them and gave them what they were meant to hear, but I didn't really answer their question for someone else that was listening and waiting for the answer to their question. You're not as good as you think you are, Constance. So there's a little humble pie for me. So I think that the good thing about trying mediumship on and giving messages for others is you would have to try. You would have to really set the intention. I'm going to do this now. I'm going to sink in. I'm going to give spirit all my attention. I'm going to deliver the information and I am going to hold on tight as the information's coming through. I am going to connect with it, trust it, hold on tight, deliver it. But remember my early episodes on clear sentiment and clear sensation. You're going to use those. How does it feel physically? How does it feel emotionally? How does the vibration of truth feel as it's coming through? And you're going to use those as you deliver the information of things that come to your mind. You can say, I'm sitting here, I'm going to give a read, I'm going to give a mediumship session, whatever comes to me comes through me, and I'm going to say it. I don't want to have anything but that coming through right now. You can set that intention. And in this next hour or in this next 30 minutes, I am going to deliver whatever their soul needs to hear. That's how you set that up. And then you're going to feel the vibration of truth as you deliver the words. And you're going to say, do you understand that? Do you understand that? I feel like this. I feel like that. And use all the clairs. Use the empathic clairs. Tune into their energy field. See how it feels. Feel the vibration of truth. This is what it's like to be you. Listen, there's a lot of different ways that you could give readings. I'm going to write a book on that to do it justice, but I might do a video. I really should charge for these because I don't make enough money. Do you know I do this for free? I pay a staff, but I don't get any money. So I should rethink my business plan. This is really like I don't get enough super thanks or all that stuff. So I don't know. That's why I've got to write books. I got to write books. So, but there's many ways to do readings, many ways. And I want to tell you different ways that you could become very skilled at doing that. But I should probably charge. I don't know. Let me think about it. Because, some of you just don't have the finances and I don't know. I don't know. So if you can join as a member, that helps. If you can't, you know, pray that I win the lottery. No. pray that what is it? What could I do? Oh, let's make Some Dogs Talk a movie. Let's manifest that. That would be a good movie. That would create income for Constance. Okay. And then I'll just keep giving you free material.
Some Dogs Talk teaches the nuances of animal communication among the pages of fiction, but the stories are based on my life experience. To get your copy, visit my shop or go to constancemessmer.com.
Okay, so there's a lot of ways to do reads, but when you set the intention, to give a read or do a mediumship session, and you say everything that I'm getting is going to be delivered, and I'm going to trust that it's for the person that I'm sitting in front of, or the crowd or the group or the whatever. And you just start going, and you use all those different clairs that you've learned and watched, all the videos that I've taught in the lessons, and you're going to use every soul sense possible, or pay attention to if one of them is around, like wafting smells in the air that are coming, to you, or whatever, or tastes that seem random while you're telling them. You might be tasting their famous pasta sauce or whatever. So you're going to pay attention wholeheartedly. You're going to just say what you see and get, because the more you do that, the more you do that, the more you'll recognize the thread of truth. I don't think you're as blocked as you think you are. I just think maybe some of you don't have a place for it to land. I think I've said to you before in other episodes that, if you feel blocked in your private practice of inner psychic rapport, where you're just chatting one to you with spirit, you want proof in the pudding. You're feeling like this isn't coming. I'm not hearing anything. So ask, why am I not hearing anything? Why am I not hearing anything? Or maybe you lean into the clair sensation. Maybe you can feel the spirit around, feel the energy around. So there's a lot of things. If there's a past life that created a block, show me the past life. Let a story reveal to you. Pay attention to your dreams, these kind of things. But I just don't think the block is what you think it is. I think we're all capable. Otherwise, I wouldn't be teaching this. I know we're all capable. And I think when you set the intention, when you dedicate your life, when you promise you're going to be honest, remember in the very beginning, I said it's a spiritual journey. This is about your unfolding, first and foremost. This is about your human potential. I totally believe that. It's about your human potential, you living from your higher consciousness, which is how you access all of these soul senses and information, and create relationship with guides, angels, loved ones on the other side, and each other, and your animal friends and your plant friends, and all of it. Take off the parameters, let whatever come through. And then when they say it doesn't resonate, or they go, I don't get that at all, then go back to spirit. However you heard that, go back to source. Don't doubt, don't discredit. Go back to source and say, I got this. Did I get that right? Did I hear you right? Hold it up to the light. Did I hear that right? And then if you get a yes, you heard it right, give the information back. Say, listen, then say, why don't they understand it? And they'll say, they will, or it's not time yet. And that's true, because maybe things have to line up in their life. And you're the only psychic read they'll ever get. And so tell them to just remember it and see how it goes. That's all. Um, and then the biggest things, like I said before, I said dissect the experience and pay attention. Pay attention in your day-to-day life to these subtle sensations, thoughts, feelings, words, smells, tastes, whatever. Pay attention and ask, where's this coming from? What's happening now? What's this about? That's how you dissolve the blocks, is you trust. So if there's a block from a past life, you can unravel it. You can sit, what's coming up for me? How many lifetimes have I been, you know, in trouble for this kind of work? Trust the first number that you get. Do that now. Let's do that now. You can close your eyes if you want, unless you're driving. Are you listening to me while you're driving? You can otherwise close your eyes, put your hands on your heart, and say, how many lifetimes? Have I done this in other lifetimes? Yes or no? Did you hear? Of course you have. Great. How many lifetimes have I done this? How many? What's the number? Trust the first thing you get. How many lifetimes was I silenced for doing it? Trust the first thing you get. And then say, I release and detach all energy that is no longer for my highest good. I claim back to me my power in all of this, so that I can be free to be fully me in my infinite and incredible, magnanimous self, wise self, functioning from all of my 11 soul senses with ease and grace. And so it is. And so it is. That's your intention. And then you can add a PS. If it's for my highest good to unravel one or many or all of those lifetimes, bring them to my awareness in my journal time or in my life, Let me be drawn. I think you know. Listen, you know already, right? If there was a past life that you had that created the block, you are knowing, you are seeing that life, reading runes or bones, or I don't want to say anymore because I don't want to put ideas in your head or have you discredit what you're seeing and getting. But I think you see yourself. You know if you were a man or a woman, you know the clothes you wore, you know the time period, the place, who wronged you. Are they in your life now? There's that. Are they in your life now? And how do they show up in your life now? Do they show up as support, friend, or foe? Are they still, you know, backstabbing you or giving you a hard time or giving you grief? Yeah. And what do you want to do about it? Are they in support because they couldn't be before and now they believe in you? And who are you living for anyway? Whose life is this? Whose life is this? How powerful are you? How amazing are you meant to be in this work? Oof, chills. Pretty powerful. Pretty amazing. You already are amazing. But if you want to be amazing using your soul senses, you just have to step into it more consistently, more solidly. And watch all the lessons on the playlist. That'll help. You know, I teach you everything. You know, I'm giving you everything I got. I'm giving you everything I got because I know you'll give everything you got. I do know that. I know the world will be a much better place because of you. It already is because you're in it. It already is. And so I just know that it'll be a much better place if everyone listened to and honored and lived from their soul senses. So I'm counting on you, but it takes effort. It took effort. Golly, I still am one ear here and there, one foot in each world. But when I first started and surrendered to this, you know, yeah, I had mystical experiences when I was young, but there were several years that I just shut it down from 8th grade. Remember when the story was poo-pooed? Like, oh, that didn't happen. And then I doubted myself from 8th grade till in college. So all through high school. I was very much in high school, very third dimension. Yeah. Yeah, was not into psycho-spiritual metaphysical world. It wasn't until college. And boy, did it come back. I came back with Shadow Man. Did I ever tell you about Shadow Man? I think I did. It was the spirit. And I was like, ugh. He scared me. I saw him in the third dimension. I called him Shadow Man. I saw him in the third dimension. He was so scary. But looking back, I should have said, is it that I'm scared of you or are you a scary being? Right? And he was just Shadow Man to get my attention, you know? Like something not good is going to happen. And he was right. He was right. Would I have preferred a beautiful angel like I saw when I was a little kid? Absolutely. Probably would have gotten my attention differently. He was a warning, warning, warning. You have to understand what your visionary experiences are all about, what they're trying to teach you. You have to enter into it. So, yeah, I had several years. Well, that was at least 4 or 5 years. Eighth, yeah, it was all of high school that I was like, not looking, not seeing, blinders on. And then I was like, take them off, all the blinders off. I am here. So then I did for a while through my college years. And then I got scared again because I thought I was crazy because I was seeing things around people. And I was like, you can't see that. You can't see that. Listen, I'm telling you right now, you're not crazy. Just because other people can't see it doesn't mean you can't. Just because other people can't see it doesn't mean you can't. If you see it, see it. So, and then I went quiet for a long time after how was that? Like, I don't know, 5 or 6 years again. What is it with my gaps of time? Like 5 or 6 years again. And then, I was like, this is happening, you know, drawn, paying attention. My girlfriend said, you want to get an astrology read? And I was like, what's that? Okay. And then one thing led to another. It was my girlfriend, she She's just a delight. She reminded me I should thank her. I should find her. She lives on the same arena that I do a few times over, and thank her again for putting me back on track to remind me where I'm supposed to be. I hope you have a friend like that, or I hope you are that friend. Let me be that friend to you. Get back on the track. Get back on the track. Have your astrology read. I love astrology. I think it's really helpful. But because you have a calling to this work and you found this podcast, right? And my lessons, we are one. We are in the circle, man. Your desire will lead you. It will. You're definitely capable, more than capable. And so if you don't feel like you're making progress and you feel like you're blocked, it's because I really think you need to really get into it more. I think you need to make a list of what's working, what's not working. So if sitting in meditation doesn't work, but ask why doesn't it work? If it's because, oh, I'm not doing what Constance said. Constance suggests I ask for a specific guide and work with a guide. Really loud guide, really loud, loud, shows up bright, close your eyes, really see them. Say, are you a man or a woman? What color is your skin tone? What do you look like? What are your colors of your clothes? Do you have facial hair? What's the story? Like, get in. Piercings, tattoos. What are you about? Like, totally get into what do they look like? What do they look like? What do they look like? Off planet, on planet, whatever. Did I ever tell you about the gal that came and her spirit guide was this giant, it was an animal. And I was like, okay. I was like, wait a minute, let me pull back and see what she's seeing. Because I saw her spirit guide and it was not an animal. It was this amazing Native American. And she was not Native American in her blood, but he was so cool. I was like, whoa. But guess what? She made herbal remedies and worked with nature. So that was I was like, yeah, that earth element is pretty solid. But I didn't tell her what I saw because I was like, no, when I bring people in, I don't tell them what I see. I just go, okay. So she saw this big animal and I said, okay, cool. I said, do this, throw light at it. It stuck around. I was like, okay. And then I said, tell that spirit guide that over the next several days, let it really reveal who it is to you in regards to the connection, how you're meant to work together, all this stuff. I didn't set in her mind that it was going to have a different appearance. But did you know a couple of days later, she called me and she said, he transformed, like shapeshifted. He changed into this giant Native American. And I was like, cool. And she said, but he's going to teach me how to travel through astral and kind of shift into perspective of animals. And I was like, oh, sure, makes sense, right? So let spirits show up as they do, really hook in and see how they are, build rapport, sit with them constantly. If you're only feeling them, ask for someone that talks loud and clear so that you can hear them. Always ask for more. Don't just ask for a blanket more, ask for a specific more. And then yeah, all of that. Did I did I say enough? Um, so what else did she wrote in, I printed the email and I don't want to keep that on long because I don't want you to see her email address. And then I put notes, practice groups are best to try your skills, try them on other people. And when you try them on other people as a practice thing, I would not necessarily give them advice. I never did. I would always just ask, oh, you can ask for certain material. Give me evidence, give me evidence, what they did yesterday, what's on the horizon for them this week. It's not future potential unless you get it really strong. You can totally give that, but it's evidence. So that was always fun in my class with students, I would have them do evidence first, but sometimes they would just soar and start saying future potentials and why aren't you a drummer? You're supposed to be a drummer, these kind of things. And then try. I think, Caitlin, you in Anchorage, Alaska, and anyone else that's feeling like they want to go deeper into the work, try to do the reads through your various soul senses. Say, okay, now I'm going to do this read full on empath. What's it like to be them? What's it like to be in their body? What's their emotional kind of repertoire these days? What are they feeling frustrated about? What are they feeling elated about? Go in by that. That's kind of cool too. I also think those of you that are called to do healing work or reads can benefit from some kind of a Reiki class. I love that because it just helps you understand energy and energy boundaries. So any kind of a class that teaches you to scan auric fields and scan chakras would be really beneficial for you in just ascertaining information. That's why I teach it in the episodes that I do, but I think it would be helpful. It's a great way to enter into reads too, is going into the chakras. So I think that's plenty of information. It's also a great way to go into, do you have blocks in any particular chakra yourself that you feel is preventing you from hearing, seeing, feeling, knowing in this as work or whatnot. So I think that your time has been really well spent here because I've enjoyed being with you here. And I hope that you've gotten a lot from this episode together and you can use it, especially if you're feeling like, things aren't progressing as quickly as you'd like. And so to recap, consecrate your experience to this work. Bring it on. I will to will thy will. And if thy will be difficult, give me strength, keep me clear, keep my ego out of it. Set your intention to always have integrity in the work, to be honest with yourself, to be honest with the information that comes through, asking for assistance if it's tricky information that makes it hard for you to deliver, no matter. Do the psychic exercises that I have all throughout the YouTube channel and the audio podcast. Take off the parameters. Let the whole experience be as magical and wondrous as it's meant to be. Don't limit the experience, truly. But also don't have expectations. Let it be what it's going to be. If you're just, if it's going to be a short read, let it be a short read. Maybe the person on the other side that you're connecting with doesn't have much to say, and that's half the message, is they didn't talk much, But maybe it's just love in their presence. They're around, and maybe that's all you need to deliver. Definitely, when you're entering into these experiences in your personal and or professional life, pay attention. Ask if you've asked to be connected through your soul senses. Pay attention day to day, moment to moment. It's being mindful, being present, right? And dissect the experience. Don't just think, oh, I had a feeling. Well, really? Was it a feeling, or was it a thought, or was it a visual? Did you get a vision? Did you have words come to you? How did that experience play out? Dissect the experience. Your soul senses, there's 11 of them, and we get information in all these different ways. It'd be awful if you didn't enter into the way that you're getting them. You'll have a greater personal relationship with yourself and the world around you. This I'm certain. Of this I am certain. So I hope this episode, which I did not know was going to be a long episode, has helped you if you're feeling like you're getting blocks and you're feeling like you're meant to do reads or mediumship for others, whether you also just want to incorporate the whole experience in your own personal life or your professional life, or do it as a profession. I'm happy for you and I'm proud of you. And I'm so, 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 so grateful that you are tuning in, not just to me and this channel and this work, but to the world and to your life. So, is there anything else I should say? Like, follow, share, subscribe, please. It helps me with the content and I totally appreciate it. So, wishing you all the best. And let it rock your world. You'll be fine. You'll be fine. And say, wow, this is overwhelming. Reel it back, or help me be open to the overwhelm. I love it. Say all these things. Just set your intention. Okay. Thanks for tuning in. Hey, Constance Messmer here. I just want to do a shout out of big thanks to all the members. I am so grateful. And all the people dropping in and giving little super thanks and all that stuff. I really appreciate you. You members and you people contributing and subscribers are what help me bring this content to everyone, really. So every little bit helps. And I am filled with gratitude that you're stepping up. There are environmental issues in other organizations that I contribute to because I like to see them persevere. And I'm hoping you feel the same about this work. I hope you put it into practice in your life and help change our world, which is what I think it ultimately does. As you know, I think if everyone tuned into their soul senses, the world would be a much better place. So when you subscribe, it's a big yes vote for the content. When you put the lessons into practice and subscribe and like and share, you help me help you carry the lesson beyond you and me. And I am just really grateful.